coming up, we are chatting about our immediate reaction to Avengers Endgame. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sacred Rewatch. My name is Ethan Bronson, and this is where we are rewatching every project in the MCU in chronological order. This is a big, monumentous occasion for us. You know, as I said last time, Infinity War, that was a big moment for us. But really, this is really the pinnacle so far of our rewatch. This isn't Iron Fist Season 2. This isn't I Am Groot Season 2, Episode 3. It's Avengers Endgame. So today we're just going to be talking about our immediate reaction from Avengers Endgame. We're not going to be giving any scores. We're going to be talking to you guys in the next episode about our full in-depth breakdown. It's going to be a shorter episode. I say shorter, 30, 45 minutes. So, but today I'm joined to you in person in a more casual setting. You know, I dress a little more casual today. So I'm joined today by Wyatt.
Hello, everybody.
And our resident philosopher, Brody.
Hello, everyone.
So, guys, we watched Avengers Endgame. It's actually our first project we watched in person together. It was very important about meeting today and being able to watch it. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning in Bermuda, maybe 1 o'clock in New York.
How is it right now? It's only 3 hours difference.
It's 10:30.
It's late. It's very late, but we wanted to get on camera, talk about our immediate reaction. So before we pull up our notes, how are you guys feeling?
I feel fantastic.
Doing amazing. I don't think anyone took notes, though.
I did. I took notes the whole time.
I stopped halfway through when to get to
I thought these guys were just on their phones the entire
No,
movie.
I was taking notes the entire time.
Dude, I had a whole notebook, and I was like, okay, I get it. We're just setting in the experience and watching it. I was like, you guys are checking post-football game information. I was like, fully understand, busy people. You guys have seen the movie before.
Nope.
I was like, these people are just watching the movie differently.
No, but it's got Endgame right here.
I literally thought...
Notes. Hold on. Can you get it?
Dude.
It just looks like a white screen.
I was taking...
You can verify, though. There's notes on here.
I know, but I literally
thought
you guys were just... every time I looked over, I was like, hey,
like halfway through
guys.
the movie, once the movie really picked up, I stopped taking notes. So I started just watching
I would agree. I would agree.
But I have some really solid notes for the first hour and a half to hour 45.
I got mental notes. I hope I'll run off of what you guys got.
Okay, well, first I'd actually like to talk about this. It's almost a month since we've watched something. Let's talk about that first. Like, how has it been not watching the MCU? I know me and Wyatt have talked about it a little bit, kind of going through some withdrawal symptoms, I think, a little bit. How are you guys feeling taking this month off leading up to it before we even talk about the movie itself?
I think it was definitely a nice little break that somewhat, I mean, it wasn't the same as the 2 years, year and a half between Infinity War and Endgame, but it was a nice little month simulation to kind of take a step back from watching this stuff. So I was excited to watch Endgame. I was very excited to come watch Endgame because I haven't seen it in a while, and it's been a while since we watched Infinity War. That I was kind of waiting to watch after Infinity War, and I had to kind of push it back.
I agree. I think jumping back into it like this, you're a little more hyped to hear the Marvel theme after you haven't heard it for a while. And I think it was like a simulation. Like, you get back into it and you're excited to see the characters again instead of I just saw these people 20 minutes ago. Yeah.
I mean, I know we were all excited to watch Endgame, especially if we watched it 1 week after Infinity War. But I felt like for this too, we've been doing the rankings that we've done over the last couple weeks, but also really just able to spend time reflecting. I mean, let's go back. We started this in April, so it's been 8 months since we started this, or it's really almost 9 months now. Yeah. Kind of crazy to reflect on. We've been doing this for 9 months, and we just got to Endgame. So there's still a lot more to watch. We've finally got our schedule finished, but this was, I think, a nice touch that we were able to watch it in person, but as well as reflect on everything we've watched to this point. So now let's talk immediate thoughts after the movie. I mean, I know you liked it.
My first initial reaction at the end of the movie was, I think Endgame is a great testament to the quality of a superhero movie is somewhat surprising. Like
Mhm.
Endgame is actually a very, very good movie. The pacing is great.
Yeah.
The writing, there's a couple lines that are kind of corny, especially nowadays looking back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the pacing feels amazing. The writing feels great. And there's kind of like the heaviness and the weight and the somberness makes it feel like much more of a real movie than much of a superhero movie.
Hmm.
And I think just the quality of Endgame being a superhero movie that's just such a good structural movie is a very surprising thing.
I know, and I feel like every single time I rewatch Endgame, I'm always like surprised to know that it's a 3-hour movie and it flies by
Mhm.
so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just because it's like super action packed and it feels like if you look away, you're going to miss something, which I think there's something to that. But at the same time, like you enjoy the 3 hours that you're watching it.
I feel like a lot of movies have issues, especially movies that balance large groups of characters going off into separate things, where when you cut away from something and then try to go back to it, you either mess up the pacing by cutting back to it too soon, that we haven't really gained enough of sort of forgetting about it to be interested,
Mhm.
or it took too long that we've lost interest. And I think Endgame does a great job with all the time travel and all that going on. It balances the pacing so well that every time it cuts back to something, you've pretty much, to me at least, just kind of somewhat forgotten that was going on 30
Yeah.
seconds ago.
Yeah.
Like, I just now, like, it'll cut to like Thor talking to his mom, and I go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just forgot that was even going on. And then that scene plays out, and then it'll
Mhm.
cut to your next scene, and it's just a very good balance and all that, which is a very hard thing to do, juggling all these characters and stories.
I think
And especially to tying in all the different callbacks, not just from Infinity War, but I mean, talking all the way back to Captain America, the first Avenger, finally bringing back your theme.
shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Point to the shield.
There we go. But what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, I think that's also why a lot of people find this movie to be very rewatchable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't rewatch this movie a lot, but I think, like you're saying, you can't keep up. Like, there's no physical way for you to, like, you remember the scenes. If you watch this movie a lot, like, you remember everything back to back. But since it's happening so quick, you can't keep up mentally.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's such a good rewatchable movie,
Yeah.
because like you just can't keep up.
Well, and
Like,
I think
it's just constant.
there's like every time I rewatch Endgame, I pick up something new. Like today, this was the first time I feel like I can, basically say every line that happens in the movie, but the scene that comes to mind that I like don't remember happening before was when Thor's walking back in Avengers HQ and that song that's playing in the background. I don't remember that specific song playing, so that was
Same.
like something new that I took out of it. I'm sure you guys all have something else that you took away that you don't really remember happening before.
I had quite a few things because, like I said, I don't rewatch this one a lot. I didn't
Mhm.
remember the jazz music. I didn't remember Michael Douglas showing up de-aged.
Mm-hmm.
I did not remember a lot of just small moments
Yeah.
like that. Because, I mean, obviously, it's like we talked about in the other stuff. Most of the stuff that you see just on a normal basis is like memes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which, like, obviously, those aren't the only scenes I remember from the movie. But when it comes, like, nobody's being like, oh, you remember that scene where de-aged Michael Douglas was walking around? Nobody's talking about that scene. So when you go back to it, because again, it's a 3-hour movie. Like, the general audience is just talking about the more broad scenes. You know what I mean? So I forgot tons of stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Tons of stuff.
right
Captain
off the
America's-
bat, I know this is going to be more immediate thoughts, but I think, this has a great title card. I know you mentioned it's been a while since we've heard the Marvel theme, and we actually didn't even hear it in this movie, but the essence is there,
That is true.
But I think that the title card is great in this movie because Infinity War, it's immediately somber. That's kind of the tone it's setting. Where this, it's like you're trying to get the audience cheered up, because Marvel's back, right? And for us, we had that month away, so it was kind of an uppity tone to it to bring us back. But at the same time, like it takes you right back to the serious note of Clint and his family, and then they're gone like that.
I think what I was going to say, I wrote my notes early. This movie has a great job as the tone and even like the color scaling and the music very much fits the emotions of the characters as they go throughout the movie.
Mhm.
Like at the very start, it is so dark and somber. Like there's that beautiful, not beautiful, but great shot over New York as it's just like City Field being empty, and the city that never sleeps being as dead and quiet as ever.
Mhm.
And then as the movie kind of goes on, as your characters seem to gain more and more, I guess, hope, and as they start to get the stones, the colors get brighter. You know,
Mhm.
they're at the Avengers, not Avengers campus, but Avengers
Headquarters.
headquarters,
Yeah.
where and it's sunnier out. The birds are chirping.
Mhm.
As they kind of get these stones and kind of come together more as a team, the music gets brighter, the colors
Mhm.
get brighter. I think it's kind of a cool little tone shift at the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think tonally this movie, essentially, especially the music, is like there's parts of it that felt very Pixar music to me. And it just feels like Toy Story 3 is how
Mhm.
this movie feels. Like
Mm.
like Toy Story 1 and 2 is your base. This is the gang, they have an adventure, then they go back. And if you're
Yeah.
watching like all the Avengers movies and Civil War, you're like, this is the adventure, boom, then it's over. And Civil War has kind of a darker ending. And then this movie is just like completely like a Toy Story 3 switch
Yeah.
of like, here is your heroes hit with such a realistic, like not obviously not realistic with the scale of it, but realistic emotional thing has hit them.
Mhm.
So it just kind of shifts the whole story to just way more serious.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Toy Story.
Even
That's
in,
the only thing I
yeah,
can compare it to.
even in like dialogue, like even dialogue conversations, like the one between Hulk and Thor, when Hulk first shows up to New Asgard, your first
Mhm.
10 like cheery music playing as they go to New Asgard. When they're in the room, they're making like fat jokes at Thor. They're
Yeah.
joking about Fortnite, and then he mentions Thanos, and the scene goes quiet, and the whole tone shifts almost instantly. All the power to the Russos for the scoring and for Hemsworth for like the acting in it. But I think they do a great job the entire movie with that.
Well,
Like
think about this. Like,
a happy poppy scene where everyone's laughing and fun,
mhm.
and then within 30 seconds, it's a very emotional scene of like three characters talking. You know,
Well, and if you look at it from the far away, you're having a conversation between smart Hulk we haven't seen before, who looks quite comical, right? And then you have fat Thor, but somehow they're able to have this super serious conversation about how Thor's family, they're all dead, right? He really has no hope for moving on in his life. And then also, Hulk really trying to come to the grips of like, you know, the quote was that Hulk lost, then Bruce Banner lost, and then they all lost. So that idea that you can have these two like incredibly comical, not serious characters have this serious conversation about what the stakes are, I think that sets it up immediately.
mm-hmm.
I think really where that starts is Iron Man and Nebula, them being in the ship together. It's this idea that although they've already lost and that everybody's died, there's still impending doom for Tony.
Hey guys, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Effortless Expeditions, a Disney-centered travel agency, here to help you plan your next Disney vacation. Contact them today for a free, no-obligation quote. Wherever the destination, they make the experience truly effortless. This episode of the Sacred Rewatch is also brought to you by Bronson Made, a digital marketing and branding agency that helps businesses grow and stand out. With the idea of our canvas, your story, Bronson Made makes the creative process simple, collaborative, and effective. Find out more at bronsonmade.com or follow them on Instagram at bronsonmade.
And I think that kind of raises my next question. And this is something I've pondered with before, but I haven't really like asked somebody else about it. Do you guys feel that this was when Tony said that he was going to go rest? Do you think that was him hoping that he died in his sleep so that he wouldn't actually have to deal with the fact that he would know when the oxygen ran out?
Yeah, well, I think it's 100% what he said. I think 100% that's his last message when he goes to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's kind of just telling her in a nice way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think him saying that he's resting is a much nicer way to put what situation he's in. So I think it's more for her.
Mm.
They used the word rest a lot when it comes to Tony. And I think especially because they've mainly Iron Man 3 to deal with all his PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that Tony, when he's sleeping, he's not really asleep.
Yeah.
And like they talk
he
about
has that nightmare and he wakes up.
Yeah, and there's so like when he's in the ship when he's gonna die, and he gives Pepper that line of like, I'm gonna rest now. Like there's that certain sort of like comfort in himself, like to Pepper. This is like there's a certain sort of like comfort, and I'm sleeping now. Like, I'm gonna rest. It's over. And then they'd say it again.
It's on his terms.
Yes, and then they say it again when it comes to he's talking about building the time travel thing. He tells Pepper, a part of me just wants to put it in the box, drop it in the lake, and go to bed. And Pepper looks at him and goes, "But would you be able to rest?" And then at the very end of the movie, when Tony snaps his fingers and he's dying, Pepper tells him, "You can rest now." And then he dies. He's finally resting.
But in the beginning of the movie too, that's because the Thanos stuff is done.
Yeah,
Like obviously he's probably still having nightmares and stuff. But the thing that he's been like waking up and being like, oh, I got to get back to it. I got to start working on Ultron. I got to start working on stuff to protect us. I think that's also part of it.
It's
just
he lost.
It's already here.
But
that's what was going to happen. But now it's over. He can't do anything about it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the idea that he's looking for a suit of armor around the world is so that he can actually have peace of mind. I mean, he even brought it up too. He's just looking for world peace. And I think in that 5-year stretch, although it was probably the most like heart-wrenching time for everybody else, he was actually the only one that was truly able to grow from it. Although he, he still lost Peter, but he was able to have Morgan. He was able to finally go away from the chaos and just relax.
That scene where he sprays the water and grabs Peter's picture, I never noticed it the first time. You don't even see Peter's picture. You think it's a picture of his dad.
Well, there was a picture.
No, I'm saying there is a picture of Howard, and when he goes to reach it, he reaches past it and grabs the picture of Peter, which I think is a nice little scene.
And that photo,
I don't remember not knowing at the time.
That
Cody?
photo's in one of the previous movies, right? Because it's obviously at the
Was
place
it
where
in
he gives.
Homecoming?
I don't
It's
know.
at the place where he gives him the Iron Spider suit. Like it looks like in the background. But I don't remember if you see them take the photo or something. I thought there was something when we were watching that I just remembered is that moment.
Or is the picture from the end of Berlin to cover up for the Stark? It's like the picture
Civil War.
It's like the picture they took to show that he
for
went.
Civil War.
Yeah, I think it might have been that. It's a picture they take to show that he went to the Stark thing.
Probably.
They had like an alibi.
That'd be interesting to see.
Oh, and I mean, this is pretty irrelevant, but I do like having these headcanon thoughts that go through my mind and having conversation about it. Like after Tony and the Guardians, had the battle with Thanos, what was the point in getting into Milano for Tony and Nebula? I know they're trying to get back, but wouldn't they know that they weren't going to?
Yeah. I don't know.
I still don't understand how there's like nothing around them. Like obviously I know they didn't have a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
But the Guardians movies make it seem like there's a planet full of humanoids every.
But at the same
space
time,
is
if there's
space.
half the amount of people around, like there's gonna be half the amount of ships going around.
No, well, also everyone's
know,
dealing
but,
with that.
Yeah.
Every planet just lost half its population.
Yeah. But I guess it's just I don't know where they are in the Marvel galaxy.
Yeah.
Because then they could find a place and they'd be like,
That is,
hey,
I never thought about
we
that.
have-
Like, why
we have
leave
half
Titan
the
in the first
extra
place?
fuel. We have half the extra fuel now.
Well, because if oxygen, I mean, clearly they were able to breathe there,
Yeah.
so running out of oxygen wouldn't have been a problem there.
Tony takes his suit off on Titan.
But they were running out of oxygen.
On the Milano,
in the ship.
Gotcha. You guys were saying that
If
If they stayed,
why do they leave
the
Titan?
oxygen wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, and I don't know. That is the other weird thing is I remember when the movie came out, I kind of thought we were going to get more of them looking at where Thanos is from.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're on the planet. Like, obviously, most of it was
Sorry,
just...
I didn't realize my toes were in some of the shots.
But,
Sorry, guys.
But, like,
You're
obviously...
supposed to pay extra for that stuff.
We have that coming out if you check the description.
No, we do not. We do not.
But yeah, like, obviously, most of it was destroyed by a moon crashing into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought through the rubble or something, we would kind of... I don't know how the ship survived the rubble of a moon flying at it. Another question. They must have parked in an amazing spot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I thought we were just going to get, like, let's look at where Thanos is from in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it's over. They could still do the whole kill Thanos thing. But I thought maybe we were going to get, like, obviously we know what caused him to do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
but I thought maybe there was a little more there. And this movie just doesn't have the time for something like that.
Yeah. Well, we've still got a ton of questions that we can go through in the next episode, but I also want to talk about, this was Wyatt's idea, talking about our experience watching Endgame when it first came out. I mean, I don't have necessarily the same experience that you guys have because I wasn't that big in the MCU at the time. But I still remember, the idea that 5 years in the future was a crazy thing to go for.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your guys' experience?
I have a
in
list.
theaters?
I was making a list of all my theater gasp moments
Okay, let's
that I
hear
could
it.
remember when my theater like, audibly reacted. Hawkeye's, it was everything. Like, the first when Hawkeye, I remember when Hawkeye turns the corner and the dust particles are floating away, which is my theater gasped.
Yeah.
And then when it cuts to 5 years later, my theater gasped.
My theater gasped when,
And then
when Laura offered mayonnaise on the hot dog. Like that's just a crazy
big
idea.
when Thanos gets his head cut off, the theater, it didn't gasp, but it was like a pin drop because you're watching this movie and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, they killed him within 20 minutes.
Or when Meek showed up.
When Meek showed up, my theater went pretty crazy.
All
And
the
then
Meek fans, they all had like their hands were like this. And they're like, yeah.
And then when Cap lifts up Thor's hammer, I to this day still think that is the best moment in the MCU in terms of like hypeness, not in terms of like,
But you had the foreshadowing of it. And then
like
Ultron.
it's pure fan service. But you see Thanos knock Mjolnir away, and just the way it lands, the way the shot's set up, it just lands with the handle sitting straight up, and something's going on. And you've always, if you know comics, you've known from the start that Cap can lift that hammer. It's just there's no question about it. And in Age of Ultron with the thing, and then it's just if they do it so well with it floating up, and then it plays Cap's music.
I think that's another reason how we were saying it's dumb that he does the "I'm still worthy" thing. I think they're trying to remind the audience that that's what you need to hold the hammer.
That is true.
I think that's another weird like I remember we were talking about that when we were watching it. We're like, why do they need to go through that whole thing again? I think one, he needs to prove that he's worthy to himself after failing to kill Thanos that first time. And I think the second thing is they have to remind the audience. It's kind of how I feel about a lot of those lines that aren't not necessarily corny, but they're just over explaining things that we already know.
Yeah.
It's just to remind the general audience, like when she's like, Thanos worked on me for years. Obviously, she says that in like every movie, but it's just to remind the general audience that that's where Blue Lady's from.
Was there, and I don't remember this, but, and you really don't think about it until you really do a rewatch or you're living the experience of, the first time Cap says Avengers Assemble is at the portal scene.
I don't.
Because it's also like, they don't give you time to think.
Yeah.
They just go. So what, do you guys remember
It was a
that
cheer.
reaction?
I remember everyone cheered. People cheered when the portals opened. People cheered when Thanos, or when Cap lifts the hammer. And then people cheered when Cap says Avengers Assemble.
I remember, I have to check. I have a video from when I first watched this. And the only clip I've seen of it is the stuff that I've taken out for the news episode. And one of them, I was saying there was a baby in the theater that was bothering me. And that's all I really know about the audience I was with. But I do remember, like, my theater wasn't very loud. And I was like right next to Disneyland. So I was like, I thought there was going to be tons of Marvel fans, tons of everything went opening day. And I remember it just wasn't that crazy. It was very weird.
My theater was packed.
Yeah.
I will say, and I've seen Marvel movies in tons of different cities, ton of different states.
We get a crazy good turnout.
Odai consistently has some of the best reactions in the theater,
Which is crazy.
It's pretty wild when you think about it. Maybe it's because there's not much going on.
But No Way Home was big.
No Way Home's been that way. Endgame was that way.
Yeah, No Way Home.
Trying to think about some other ones that I remember. Infinity War, I vaguely remember.
Elio. Everyone was going crazy at Elio. Pixar still got it.
Meek, No Way Home, that was a big reaction.
Meek, No Way Home.
So, I mean, do you guys have any other thoughts? I've got several other questions to go through, but at the same time, if we go through that, we could be here for another 2 hours. So
I was gonna mention, there's that scene they cut at the end, and I mentioned it to Brody when it comes up. I don't know if you remember it. There was a scene of Tony talking to his daughter in the future, right after he snaps the glove.
But it
Yeah.
wasn't the future, was it?
Well, his
Or
daughter
she was
was
grown.
his daughter was an adult,
Mm-hmm.
I
and it
forgot
was
that part.
I think
Yeah.
it was like it was the Soul Stone kind of like talking to him or something
The
weird.
soul world.
But whatever
It
it
was the same
was,
as the Thanos Gamora one.
Mhm.
very
Infinity War.
very very glad they cut it, because I actually think it would have absolutely murdered the pacing from when Tony's snapping to
Yeah. It'd take you out of the emotion.
Exactly.
of it.
Even
'Cause-
worse than that, it would make the last scene where he leans forward and talks directly to her worse.
Yes.
Yes,
he already had a
yes,
full
100%.
conversation.
Well,
Uh-huh.
I don't think if they included that scene would have been existed.
I think it still would have, because they still had the 3000 in it.
Yeah,
And that scene was already shot and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, both were shot, but I'm just saying. I think they had to choose, and I think they made the right decision of keeping.
But then do you think they would have gotten rid of him upstairs tucking into a bed?
Yeah, and I think it probably would have been.
But if they got rid of that, then they wouldn't have the parallel of him working on the thing and not being able to sleep. So I don't know if they would have.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I think they would have. I think that's why they cut out that scene too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't just pacing. It was that you could have this and you could have this. You didn't really need that one.
Yeah.
That was the one that was out of.
You don't need Tony to talk to his daughter as an adult. I feel like.
Well, that's what the hologram's for.
Yeah,
That's
well, exactly. I
what
just
it's
like
for.
Tony knows that she's gonna be fine. That's
Mhm.
why he does it. Like he snaps his fingers because he knows that he's saving the world from Thanos.
And
Yeah.
Pepper says that again.
Yeah, and like Pepper
Says
says,
we're gonna be
we're
alright."
gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. You don't need Tony to go talk to his
But I do
daughter.
love the hologram.
Especially when it's not so much that we don't care about Tony as his daughter. It's just we just met Tony's daughter 2 hours ago, and it's not that we don't care about her. We care about what it means for Tony as a character to have a
Yes.
daughter. We have no actual affection towards Morgan Stark whatsoever,
Mhm.
nor do I think we ever really need to see her again or have her do anything of value again. It's more just the idea that Tony has a family now. That's
Yeah.
important to him, is
Mhm.
the important part. So you don't need to see him really talking to his adult daughter, I feel like.
Yeah. I just like the hologram scene because like he has that whole conversation. His dad's like, I just hope my son doesn't turn out exactly like me, and he leaves a video message
Mhm.
to his offspring the same way that his dad did.
Yeah,
And I think
but I think
And also, it's a more Tony message, the
Mhm.
hologram, while still being alive, with that always that smug, not that smug, but that sort of, it's all good. I'm Tony Stark. I'm Iron
Yeah.
Man. It's gonna be okay. What am I tripping about?
and I think why the message hits a little bit harder coming from Tony is because he filmed it probably after he figured out time travel and realized. Did he know Doctor Strange's one
I was
possible
gonna say the
reason
exact
was
same
that
thing.
he was going to die at that point? I would argue that he probably found it a little bit later.
Tony is a genius.
Mhm.
I think that he can put 2 and 2 together relatively early on. That someone's gonna have to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I think he always knew it was gonna have to be him.
Mm-hmm.
or he was more than willing to make it him. Just because Peter,
Yeah.
that whole Peter thing. He doesn't want to go through that again. But it's crazy that they did kill off 2 Avengers.
Yeah.
Not just 1, 2 Avengers.
2 Avengers that we more or less have had the most connection to,
Yeah.
Really, I mean, nobody can really relate to their exact stories and how their upbringing was, but they had the most unique storylines to them, I would say.
Mm.
And, a lot of people forget too, like Natasha, we discovered her in Iron
Yeah,
Man 2
I
like
was
a
gonna-
long time ago. So, I mean, there's more questions to talk about because we've already watched Black Widow, but the Black Widow movie was released after Endgame. So it brings up some unique conversation about release, but
Maybe it's all. I think there is a lot of stuff, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they do a good job. There is a lot of things that I think are kind of subtly said without being said,
Mhm.
like when Cap talks to Bucky at the end,
Mhm.
and Bucky says, "I'm gonna miss you."
yeah.
Like I don't think it's poor writing to the fact that why would Bucky miss him if he thinks he's coming back in 5 minutes? I think it's Bucky knows what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
whether it's a conversation off screen or if it's like whether you leave it up to nuance that Bucky and him just talked about it, or if you just kind of Bucky knows Steve. He knows he's not coming back. The same way that Iron Man probably knew from the start that he was going to have to sacrifice himself.
Mm-hmm.
They do a really good job at stuff like that in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have any further thoughts before we wrap it up?
I just want to retcon what I said in the Infinity War video, which is, I apologize, it was worth the wait for Captain America's name. It was. Because, like, I don't know. I guess, like, waiting till he gets his shield back.
But it wasn't just
Does
once.
make
They played it
sense.
multiple times.
Tons of times. But then again, they might have been playing other themes too. Like I said, I
think there was Thor: The Dark World. Did we pinpoint that there was that theme in there?
I thought there was, but it's not the main tracks that
Yeah.
I know because it's not a huge grand moment.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be probably taken from a scene with him and his mom. But the Captain America one stood out tons
Yeah.
because that plays at least like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, definitely.
Like tons. It's totally mixed into the movie, which I didn't feel like it was for the last one.
Well, I think that's going to wrap up our instant chat about Avengers Endgame. I think leaving it to 30 minutes is going to let us marinate a little bit in this idea of Avengers Endgame. So we're going to have one more episode coming out after this talking about Avengers Endgame. And then I want to preface, I did promise 10 days of holidays. I think I maybe even promised 12 days. That clearly did not happen. But we are going to have one more episode coming out after this. We're going to do one more ranking. The ranking is actually going to be everything we're looking forward to past Endgame. Little teaser, after we watch Loki, we're going to be getting into some multiversal stuff. So we're going to be taking a break a little bit from the MCU. We're going to be watching all the Sonyverse Spider-Man movies, X-Men, and many more to come. Maybe on our Patreon that we start soon. Velocipaster.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And I'm very excited to say that when we have these multiversal episodes, we're bringing some people back.
Ooh. So we're
Some
going to need
variants.
that.
Yeah,
Should
we
we
will.
get that in frame?
Yeah, let's get it.
I looked at that earlier.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff happening over this next year as we go into multiversal stuff. Probably go for about 4 months, and then back in June we will resume.
It's like made for this or something. I hate that line, by the way. Forgot to bring that up. I hate that
Who
line.
said that?
Thor, where he's like, it's mostly gamma. Not Thor, sorry, Hulk.
Oh,
It's it's mostly gamma. It's kind of like it was made for this or something.
They almost tricked everybody. They almost fooled us, guys, to being like, wait a second, we had a plan for Hulk this whole time. We weren't just having him do nothing on purpose. We knew we were going to give him an oven mitt.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
finish your outro. My
Yeah,
fault.
sorry.
No, you're good. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening, specifically on this podcast, but also the channel. So make sure you go check out all of our other content. Give a 5-star review, comments, all that jazz. Subscribe. That always helps, So that's going to do it for this episode of The Sacred Rewatch. We hope you enjoyed diving back all over the timeline with us, and we will see you in the next episode. For all time, always. See you guys.